ओमैहि सुरसहस्रांशो तेजोराशि जगत्पति अनुकंपे मां भक्त्या गृहाणार्घं दिवाकर. As we know, uh, Archaeological Survey of India, Bangalore Circle, and Heritage Society Karnataka Circle is organizing a lecture series on the theme of Karnataka Heritage Lectures. So today, our fifth episode of our lecture series, we have our distinguished speaker today, Dr. Gautam Jantakal, numismatist and academic member of the Heritage Society Karnataka Circle. And from Bangalore Circle, Dr. V. Raghavan Sahab is also present with us. And our today's chairperson is Dr. V. Shobha, Head of Department of Studies, Ancient History and Archaeology, University of Mysore. So requesting on the behalf of both organizations, welcoming all of you to join our this lecture episode fifth of our lecture series on the behalf of Heritage Society and Bangalore Circle, Archaeological Survey of India, Bangalore Circle, requesting our distinguished speaker, Dr. Gautam Jantakal sir, to kindly deliver your lecture on the theme of understanding early medieval Karnataka dynasties through its coins. Welcome, sir, on the behalf of both the organizations.
Thank you, Dr. Ananta Shutoshji. Firstly, I would wish to thank the ASI Bengaluru Circle as well as the Heritage Society Karnataka Circle for this opportunity accorded to me to deliver this lecture. So I have just opened my PPT. Yeah. So I assume all of you are able to see this PowerPoint presentation. So the topic I have chosen is understanding early medieval dynasties, Karnataka dynasties through its coins. So the reason for me to choose this particular topic, early medieval Karnataka, is because, of course, the focus of this entire lecture series is on Karnataka. Secondly, at an earlier date, I had given a talk on the topic of early historic Karnataka and its coins, which was delivered on the Mythic Society platform, and it is also available on YouTube. So, as a logical continuation, I decided that this topic would be a good continuity in order to understand the numismatic tradition of Karnataka. So, what is the scope of my talk? So, the scope of my talk is early medieval dynasty coins, which are found within the borders of modern Karnataka. So, only those are included in this presentation. Secondly, the coin types that I am attempting to present here are representative only. So, there are some of the important coin types that I want to bring it to your notice. However, they are not the complete exhaustive coinage of those respective dynasties. So, while I am delivering this talk, I would be using some terms which some of you might be familiar with, some of you might not be. So, I just thought I will very quickly mention to you some of the terms that I would be using in this talk. So, firstly, I would be using terms such as obverse and reverse. So, when I say obverse, it means the more important face of the coin. The coin has two faces. The more important face, or the face that gives the coin its identity, or the face that contains the dynastic symbol or emblem of the dynasty, so that we normally term as the obverse. And the other side, we generally term it as the reverse. Also, any drawing that appears on the coin, any symbol that appears on the coin, we call it with the name of motif or device. So, for example, in this coin, on the obverse side, we can see a lion motif with the lion facing towards the right. And we also use another term in numismatics, that is the legend. So legend means nothing but the writing that is present on the coin. So we call it as the legend. So I'll be using these terms through this lecture. Now, when we come to the framework of early medieval Karnataka, the scripts that we encounter on the coins are Telugu Kannada, Early Nagari, and Nandi Nagari. So these are the three scripts that we are most likely to encounter on the coins. And the languages that we are likely to encounter on these coins which are found in Karnataka are either they have a Sanskrit origin or they have a Kannada origin. And what do these legends contain? They mostly, the legends which appear on the coin, that is basically the writing that appears on the coin, they generally have the ruler's name or the title of the ruler. So the title, we call it as Birudu. Okay. So normally the coins in this period either have the names of the rulers or their respective titles. Next, what is the coin metrology that was used in this specific period? That is the early medieval period. So when I say early medieval period, it means the period starting from roughly the 7th century Common Era till the beginning of the 14th century Common Era. So during this period, vast period of say 600 to 700 years, the coin metrology we encounter is as what you see in front of you. So we have coins which are called gold coins, which are called as the Gadhyana, also termed as Varaha or Hon in epigraphic references. So one Gadhyana, one gold Gadhyana, was comprised of 10 gold Pana. Okay, Hana or Pana. So 10 gold Hana or 10 gold Pana made up one Gadhyana. And one Pana was further divided into 4 equal parts, and each part was called as a Haga. Okay, so 4 gold Hagas made up a Pana, and 10 such gold Panas made up a Gathyana. We also have inscriptional references that suggest the ratio of gold to silver coinage. So one gold haga was equivalent to 4 silver visha or tara. Visha or tara basically refers to silver coins, and 4 such coins is supposed to make up one gold haga. Now, while these are the conversion ratios that we encountered in this period, what was the actual weights of these coins? So here below, you see a small table which will give you the weights of the coins during the Hoysala period. Why I'm specifically mentioning Hoysala period is because even in the medieval period, we have a span of 600 to 700 years. And during this period, different dynasties used variations in terms of the weight. Although the name of the coin, Gadhyana or Pana or Haga, remained the same, the respective weights of those coins used to change with time. So during the Hoysala period, the weight of these coins, Gathyana was 4.1 gram, Pana was one tenth of it, that is about 0.41 grams, and Haga was one fourth of the Pana, that is about 0.1 gram. Moving forward, so while I have taken up this topic of early medieval Karnataka dynasties, due to the time framework allocated for this talk, I will be covering some of the important dynasties, such as these 6 dynasties, starting from the Chalukyas of Badami, the Rashtrakutas of Manyakheta, the Nolambas of Henjeru, Chalukyas of Kalyana, the Hoysalas of Dwarasamudra, and the Yadavas of Devagiri. So these will be the 6 dynasties whose coin series I would be discussing in this call, in this talk. So, firstly, let us go to the Badami Chalukyas. So, the Badami Chalukyas, if you look at it, look at politically, they were the successors of the of the Kadambas of Banavasi, also what we call as the early Kadambas. So, around 540 Common Era, Pulakesin the first took control and established the Badami Chalukya dynasty, and they ruled for a little more than 200 years. And finally, at around 753 Common Era, they were uprooted by the emerging Rashtrakuta dynasty. Uh, while they ruled for a very long time, that as we can see, 200 years, when we talk about and with their capital at Badami, very much within Karnataka, modern Karnataka, their coins are very, very few in number. Okay, so this is the dynastic emblem or the crest of the Badami Chalukyas, what we also call as Lanchana. So it has a boar. So the boar is the crest of the Badami Chalukyas. When we come to the coinage of the Badami Chalukyas, surprisingly, for some strange reason, we hardly find any coins that we can conclusively attribute to the Badami Chalukyas and found in Karnataka. So, in fact, the coin that I've kept in front of you on the right side is a sole coin that we can conclusively attribute to the Badami Chalukyas. This coin was published by Srinivas Padikkar, and I think it was published in the year 2001. And this coin has on the obverse a lion facing towards the left. Okay, you can see the lion with its front paw raised, and on the reverse we have a conch at the center and letters around it. So we have the letters around it, and these letters, when read, give us the reading as Shri Prithvi. Okay. Now, this Sri Prithvi is a short of Prithvi Vallabha, one of the very popular epithets used by Badami Chalukya rulers. Now, if we were to compare this coin of the Badami Chalukyas with the coin on the left, which belongs to the Vishnukundins who ruled from the Vengi region, we can see a lot of similarity in the typology of the coin. So it means that we know from the political history that Pulakesi Second's army actually defeated the the Vishnukundins at Vengi and took control of the Vengi region. So while that is the political event that happened, the coins that followed resemble the Vengi typology. The coins that were subsequently issued by the Badami Chalukyas resemble typologically with the earlier coins issued by the Vishnukundins from Vengi. So this similarity of typology is what we call as numismatic continuity, which is seen very frequently when we compare the two dynasties in a particular place. When one dynasty succeeds the other dynasty, they try to copy the typology of the earlier coins. The reason is very simple. The reason is because they don't want to immediately change the typology. If an immediate change of typology of the coinage occurs by the succeeding dynasty, then that causes confusion in the trade and commerce, because the people would have been familiar with a particular typology of coinage. A new typology breeds confusion, and that impacts trade and commerce. That is why we see the law of numismatic continuity on many occasions, and this is one such occasion. But having said this coin was actually found in Bijapur province. It has been documented in the publication. Uh, it has been found in the Bijapur region. So, apart from this coin, which can be conclusively attributed to the Badami Chalukyas, we have one more coin, but I have not been able to independently verify its attribution because the image of this particular coin is not available. Only the description of this coin is available in the publications. So the publications state that there was a particular coin type which was made up of gold, weighing about 7.8 grams, and which had the legend Sri Vikrama, as well as motifs of the boar on both the obverse and as well as the reverse. So this the publication tentatively attributed it to Vikramaditya the first because of the legend Vikrama that occurred. However, the image of this coin is not been available, and hence I am not able to independently verify and confirm its attribution. So that being the case, uh, in the current context, there are hardly any coins that we can attribute to the Badami Chalukyas, which are found in the within the borders of modern Karnataka, and this is an anomaly. So let us move on. The next dynasty that replaced the Badami Chalukyas were the Rashtrakutas. So the Rashtrakutas um, defeated the Badami Chalukyas in the year 753 Common Era under the leadership of the first imperial Rashtrakuta ruler, that was Danti Durga. So, starting from there, they had a long rule till the fag end of the 10th century, where they were replaced again by another Chalukya descendant called Tailapa II. So he is belonging to the Kalyana Chalukyas. So between 753 and 973, they ruled for a period of more than 200 years, which with their capital, most of the time they had their capital at Manyaketha or Malkhed. So this is the dynastic crest or the emblem of the Rashtrakutas. So it is a Garuda, and in this this is actually a Rashtrakuta seal from a copper plate. It denotes a Garuda seated in a Padmasana position and seated on a lotus, and he has wings extended on both sides from behind his shoulders. Also, very interestingly, he holds in either of his hands, he holds a snake. So, from mythology, we understand the relationship of Garuda and the snakes. It is mentioned in the Mahabharata as well as in the Puranas. So, this was the emblem or the royal crest of the Rashtrakutas. Now, I will present to you some of the gold Gadhyanas or that can be attributed convincingly to the Rashtrakuta dynasty. So, the first coin that I'm presenting to you, we can see on the obverse a horse rider. Okay, this is a gold Gadhyana and it weighs about 4.18 grams. And on the obverse, we can see a horse rider. And in fact, this horse rider is holding something in his left hand. Okay, and if we look at it closely, and we can see that there is also a small dot here which could as well represent a ball. So we have a bat here, we have a ball here. So this actually represents um, a game called Kanduka Krida. So Kanduka Krida is very much very much present in the narratives or in epigraphs. It talks about a game akin to polo, a game akin to polo that used to be played at those times. Before this coin was identified, this before this coin surfaced, the earliest the earliest depiction of the Kanduka Krida was on an inscription from the 11th century. However, this coin that we see here belongs to Govinda III. So this imagery appearing on the obverse of the coin takes the Kanduka Krida, the presence of the Kanduka Krida sport, back by a couple of centuries. Okay, so and on the reverse of the coin, we have early Nagari script in 2 lines. So this same script has been reproduced here for a better reading. So it reads as Shri Jagatunga Apratihata Shata Garuda Dvaja. So this is what this 2 lines of Nagari script is reading. And this is early Nagari script. And we also know from inscriptions that the Rashtrakutas were pioneers who introduced the Nagari script into the Deccan and South India. And this coin also corroborates that fact. Interestingly, apart from the Nagari script, we also see a script like writing at the periphery of the coin, both on the obverse as well as on the reverse. And it resembles Arabic script. Now, why is an Arabic script occurring on a indigenous Rashtrakuta coin? So the Rashtrakutas had a very strong trade relation with the Arab Peninsula. And the most important item that the Rashtrakutas used to import from Arabia were the horses. And it were these horses that actually won the wars for the imperial Rashtrakutas and helped in their expansion. So, with this strong trade happening between the Arab Peninsula as well as the western coast of the Indian subcontinent, controlled by the Rashtrakutas, the Arab dinars at that time, Arabia was ruled by the Abbasid dynasty. So, basically, the Abbasid gold dinars would have naturally come to the Indian shores. And if we were to look at the Abbasid gold dinars, we see a very similar pattern of Arabic script on the periphery of their gold coin. Not only that, if we were to compare the weights of the Abbasid gold dinar and the Rashtrakuta Gadhyana, we find that they are very close to each other. The Abbasid gold dinar was supposed to weigh about 4.25 grams, whereas the Rashtrakuta dinara, the Rashtrakuta Gadhyana in this case weighs 4.18 grams. So both were made up of gold, and weight-wise also they were similar. And even from the look-wise also, typologically, there was a certain amount of similarity by way of this Pseudo-Arabic script that was present on the Rashtrakuta coin. So to that extent, the Rashtrakuta coinage was influenced by the Abbasid gold coinage. So it might not be an exaggeration if one were to theorize that the Rashtrakuta gold coins, the weight of the Rashtrakuta gold coins were actually adjusted to be very close to the Abbasid gold dinaras, probably in order to ease the trade and commerce of that time. We can see one more gold specimen, another gold Gadhyana here, which is of the same type. Only thing is the horse rider, instead of moving towards the left, he is moving towards the right. So this is another variety of the same Gadhyana type. And the legend here, it reads clearly in early Nagari script as Sri Jagatunga. And Jagatunga was epithet held by many rulers. However, it is being tentatively attributed to Govinda III because he was one of the strong imperial Rashtrakuta rulers. So tentatively, this coin is being attributed to Govinda III. Now, this is another Gadhyana issued by the Rashtrakutas, on which we see on the obverse a lion facing towards the right and holding something in its hand which looks very much like a plow. And on the reverse, we see early Telugu Kannada script. So the script of this in this time period is termed by epigraphists as early Telugu Kannada. So what we see here is early Telugu Kannada script, and it reads in two lines as Sri Nanni Vedanga. Sri Nanni Vedanga. So this was a title, and epigraphs help us to determine this, that this title was held by one of the later imperial Rashtrakuta rulers by name Govinda the Fourth. And this coin type was first published by Sri Nityanand Pai in the Studies in South Indian Coins. Another Gadhyana type is being presented here, and this type was published by Girijapati, again in South Indian Studies in South Indian Coins. And on the obverse, we see the seated Garuda, seated in a Padmasana position. And on the reverse, we see in two lines, again, early Nagari script. It reads as Shri Shubha Tunga, and the second line is a little bit unclear and hence has not been fully deciphered. But Shri Shubhatunga is very clear, and Shubhatunga again was one of the popular epithets held by Rashtrakuta imperial rulers such as Krishna the First, Second, Third, and Fourth. So tentatively, based on a paleography, this particular coin is being attributed to Krishna the Second, and the weight is 4 grams. This is another gold Gadhyana published by late Sri Mukunda Prabhu in 2001. And here on the obverse, we see a caparisoned elephant towards the right. And on the reverse, we see legend in two lines. And this is in early Telugu Kannada script. And it reads here as Sri Chalake Nallata. So Chalake Nallata means, Chala means cleverness or even deception. Nallata means one who is well versed. So it means that one who is well versed in being clever or being deceptive. And this, again, an epithet, and epigraphs come to our rescue in order to identify this. This epithet was held by the Rashtrakuta ruler Krishna III, also held by Marasimha II, a Western Ganga ruler. So there are two rulers from two different dynasties who had the same epithet. So it is difficult to exactly ascertain because the time frame of these two rulers are very close to each other. So it is very difficult to ascertain who exactly issued this particular gold Gadhyana. Another gold Gadhyana, again showing on the obverse, elephant, a caparisoned elephant, and on the reverse, it has a floral design on the center, and on the periphery, we get the legend again reading as Sri Chalake Nalata. So the same attributions, Krishna the third or Marasimha the second. This was published by R. Gopal in Studies in South Indian Coins in the year 2016. So while these are the gold coins, these gold coins were found in the area of the Shimoga district. So in that region, the data suggests that these gold coins were found in that region, the ones that I showed you till now. But one thing, one problem that we generally face, researchers in numismatics face, is ascertaining the provenance of coins. Because coins, the provenance of coins are not very easily shared by the people who actually find those coins for many reasons. So it is very difficult to ascertain. Um, but to the best of my knowledge, the coins that I have shared till now are the ones that are found in the within the Karnataka state. Now, what about silver and copper coins? Did the Rashtrakutas issue silver and copper coins? Yes, they did issue silver and copper coins. But strangely enough, none of the silver and copper coins of the imperial Rashtrakutas have been found within the modern Karnataka borders. So then where else they have been found? They have been found in Maharashtra, they have been found in South Gujarat, and they have also been found in western regions of Telangana, but none in Karnataka so far, which is again an anomaly in itself. So moving on, we will go to the next dynasty, that is the Nolambas. The Nolambas were the vassals of the Rashtrakutas for most of their rule. They came into power towards the fag end of the rule of the Pallavas. However, by towards the end of the 10th century, they were replaced by the Western Gangas. Their capital was initially at Chitradurga in central Karnataka, but later on they moved their capital to Henjeru, which is part of today's Andhra Pradesh. Their dynastic crest was a seated bull, that is Nandi. Now, these are some of the Gadhyanas that can be conclusively attributed to the Nolambas. On the top left, you see on the obverse, you see a seated bull with a lamp in front of it. And on the reverse, we see a floral scroll. And on the periphery, we are able to read in early Telugu Kannada script. The legend reads as Sri Nolamba Narayana in a circular fashion. So, Sri Nolamba Narayana epigraphically has been attributed to the Nolamba ruler Mahendra II. So, this is a gold Gadhyana weighing 3.75 grams. So, if we were to compare the weight of this gold Gadhyana with the earlier Rashtrakuta Gadhyanas, we can immediately spot a difference. These Gadhyana weight standards are lesser than the Rashtrakuta weight standards. So by this time, by the time of the Nolambas, the weight standard had probably reduced, or they were following some sort of a parallel weight standard. On the right side, we can see another gold Gadhyana. And interestingly, while the former gold Gadhyana on the top left is a die struck coin, on the bottom right, this is a punch mark coin. Now, punch marking is a technique that was used for the earliest coins of the Indian subcontinent, namely the coins of the Mahajanapada series. But they this particular technique was abandoned by at least around the 1st century Common Era. So it is very surprising to see a resurgence of this particular punch mark technique during this period of 9th and 10th century Common Era in the Deccan region. Ideally speaking, the punch mark technique takes a more amount of time to strike a coin as compared with the die struck technique, for the simple reason that each punch has to be struck one after the other on the coin. And this coin that we see here has um, 9 punches. So that means 9 different times the die has to be lifted and it has to be hammered on the blank planchet to make this punch mark coin. So it is time consuming. So it is curious to know why there was a resurgence of this particular technique in this geography and time period. Now, if we were to closely look at these punches, again, it contains the crest or the dynastic emblem of the Nolambas, that is a seated bull, punched 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 times. And then we have 2 punches of the Kannada letter Shri, and then 2 more punches which contain legend, and it reads as Nanni here and Nolamba here. So Nanni and Nolamba. So Nanni and Nolamba, when read together, it gives the name Nanni Nolamba the first. So he must have issued this particular Gathyana. So this is a tentative attribution to Nanni Nolamba the first. So here on the top left, we see one more punch mark technique, gold Gathyana. And here we have the legend reading as Nolamba, again reproduced here. And here we have only a single letter no. So we have no as a single punch and another punch which reads 3 letters Nolamba. On the bottom right, we have a very beautiful punch mark coin. It reads, again has the dynastic symbol at the center, and one legend punch is there, which reads as Nolamba. So this Nolamba can be any of the rulers. So it is not possible to attribute this coin to a specific Nolamba ruler. Now the weight of this coin is 5.89 grams. So this coin is more than the weight of the Gathyana. So it is possible that this might have been a special issue or a temple issue for a specific commemorative event rather than a coin for circulation. Now, while we saw the Gadhyanas, we also know that the Nolambas issued coins, gold coins in smaller denominations. So this coin is a Pana on the top left. It's a Pana, again has the bull, the dynastic symbol on the obverse. On the reverse, there is a Ankusha with decorations, and we have the sun and moon symbols on the top. So the Pana weights 1/10 of the Gadhyana. So if the Gadhyana is of 3.76, the Pana is of 0.37. So it is 1/10. On the bottom right, we have a silver coin. So in this entire period of early medieval, silver is gold is one that was used most popularly. Next came silver, and we hardly see any copper coins. So the Nolambas were one of the few dynasties of this period who actually issued silver coins. So this is a silver coin. Again, on the obverse we see a seated bull. On the reverse we see the Kannada numeral 2, and below that we have 2 bars or 2 lines, horizontal lines. This is supposed to denote 2.5 unit. Now we don't know it is 2.5 of what, but in general, the silver coins in this period were called as Visha. So we are terming this as a silver Visha coin. So after the Nolambas, we find the Kalyana Chalukyas with their capital at Kalyana, that is today's Basava Kalyana in the Bidar district, and um, they were the political successors of the Rashtrakutas. Under Tailapada II, uh, they replaced the Rashtrakutas, and finally, by the end of the 12th century, they were in turn completely replaced by the Hoysalas, the Seonas, and the Kakatiyas. This was the royal crest of the Kalyana Chalukyas. The Kalyana Chalukyas claimed their descendants from the earlier Badami Chalukyas, hence the name Chalukya continues. This is a copper plate seal of Tribhuwana Malla, one of the Kalyana Chalukya rulers, and the bull, which you see here, is the royal emblem of the Kalyana Chalukyas. In fact, here it reads as Sri Tribhuwana Malla. So these are some of the Gadhyanas that can be attributed conclusively to the Kalyana Chalukyas. Now, um, they also use punchmark technique. As we can see here, they continue to use the punchmark technique that the Nolambas had started. So we can see various punches, up to 9 punches we are able to count on the coin. And one of the punch, it reads as Jaga here in Kannada script, Kannada Telugu script. So Jaga is short for Jagadeka Malla, one of the popular epithets held by more than one Kalyana Chalukya ruler. Now, if you look at the weight, 3.5 grams, so it is quite close to the Nolamba weight standard, but somewhat close to the Nolamba Gadhyana weight standard. Now, this is another punchmark coin with the lion. So there are 5 punches of the lion. And here, one of the punches has a legend which reads as Jaya. Okay, the same repeats here, Jaya. So Jaya is attributed to Jayasimha, one of the Kalyana Chalukya rulers. Now, this coin on the bottom left, again a punchmark coin, it has a legend punch which reads as Trilokya. Trilokya. Now, we know from epigraphs that Trilokya Malla was an epithet held by another ruler, Someshwara the First. And in this punchmark coin on the bottom right, we see the legend reading as Bhuloka. And we know from epigraphs that Bhuloka Malla was an epithet held by Someshwara the Third. Hence, we are able to attribute this coin to Someshwara the Third. So, as we have been seeing, the name of the king does not appear. So, the name of the instead of the king, his epithet occurs on the coins. So, if we have to attribute the coin to the king, so we have to go back to epigraphs and check that epithet belongs to which particular king. And sometimes, or more frequently, what happens is one epithet would have been used by more than one ruler. Then the specific identification of a coin to a particular ruler becomes quite challenging. And paleography also does not come to our help in this scenario because these rulers uh, uh, are chronologically very close to each other. Now, these are some of the panas issued which can be attributed to the Kalyana Chalukyas. So, like I said, the pana is 1/10 of the Gadhyana. Now, if you look at the reverse of these pana coins, the pana coins are obviously smaller in size when compared to the Gadhyana. So, they cannot accommodate a long legend. So, what the Kalyana Chalukyas appear to have done is they have just used some alphabets, some Kannada letters. Now, if you look at it randomly, it does not make sense. But uh, if you were trying to arrange it, it actually we can see ja pronounced with the letter ja on the reverse, ga on the reverse, and ka on the reverse. So mostly what they try to do is the epithet Jagadeka, they have taken each letter of that and they have struck panams in that. So these letters individually, they actually represent the uh, entire epithet, long epithet Jagadeka. Of course, we have not been able to find a panam with the letter De yet, but the other three we have been able to find till date. Apart from these inscribed coins of the Kalyana Chalukyas, we also find some Gadhyanas and smaller denomination coins like Haga. So here we have the boar. On the obverse, we have the motif of the boar. Here also we have the motif of the boar on the obverse. However, there's no writing. So we exactly don't know whether uh, how to attribute it to either the Kalyana Chalukyas, or it might also be possible that these might have been issued by some of their feudatories also. So a conclusive attribution of these coins has not been possible. Moving on, the next important dynasty are the Hoysalas. So the Hoysalas replaced a significant portion of the Kalyana Chalukya territory, especially the southern part. So and they also ruled for about 200 years, and subsequently at the end they were replaced by the Vijayanagara Empire. So, what you see in front of you are some of the Gadhyanas that we are able to easily attribute to the Hoysala rulers. So, these Gadhyanas, if we look again at the weight of the Gadhyanas, we see that they have increased. The Gadhyana weight standard has increased. In the Kalyana Chalukya period, we saw, and the Nolamba period, we saw it was around 3.7. Now, again, here it has increased to 4.1. Now, what is the reason for the weight to increase? It is quite possible that this weight increase was because of their interaction or influence with the imperial Cholas who ruled further south of the Hoysalas. So, in that territory, further south of the Hoysalas, in that territory, the a gold coin Gadhyana with a weight standard of 4.1 or 4.2 grams used to be in circulation. They were started by the imperial Cholas in the 10th century, and they continued to circulate. It is possible that that particular metrology might have influenced the Hoysalas to issue the Gadhyana in a slightly heavier weight as compared to their predecessors. Now, if you look at the top left, so you can see a tiger, and we can see a motif of Vishnu with Shanku and Chakra, flanked by Shanku and Chakra. So, and on the reverse, it reads in Kannada, early Kannada Telugu script as Sri Nolamba Vadi Gonda. Now, Vishnuvardhana, one of the important and early imperial rulers of the Hoysalas, had the title Nolambavadi Gonda when he conquered the Nolambavadi region. So, that epithet occurs on this Gadhyana in three lines Sri Nolambavadi Gonda. Similarly, when the same ruler Vishnuvardhana captures the Talakadu region, he gets the title Talakadu Gonda. And again, that epithet is seen here on the reverse of the coin. It reads as Sri Talakadu Gonda in three lines. And on the obverse, we see a tiger, and we see the Kirti Mukha on the top of the tiger. So on the bottom left coin, again on the obverse, we see the tiger, and we see Lord Vishnu standing with Shanku and Chakra, as well as sun and moon symbols. And on the reverse, it reads as Sri Pratapa Narasimha, who was another Hoysala, prominent Hoysala ruler. And on the bottom right, um, we see on the reverse, we are able to read as Sri Malaporol Gonda, which was the title of another Hoysala ruler, Narsimha III. So here, some of the very prominent political titles of the Hoysalas are coming out also on the coins, which signifies the importance of those political events. Again, the Hoysalas also, like their earlier counterparts, the Kalyana Chalukyas, not only issued panams, not only issued gadhyanas, but also smaller coin units, that is the panams. So is a gold. These both are uninscribed gold pana. So their weight would be 1/10 of the gadhyana. That will be close to 0.4 grams. And the Hoysalas have also issued silver. Like I was telling you, silver is seldom seen in the coinage series of early medieval Karnataka. So we saw silver being issued by Nolambas, and after that, now we are seeing silver being issued by the Hoysalas. So they have issued in huge numbers, and this is a very interesting silver coin because it depicts the Ganda Berunda. So on the obverse of the coin, within this crescent, you can see a two-headed humanoid form, which is basically an anthropomorphic form of Ganda Berunda, which is otherwise a mythical bird having two heads, and it has a Vaishnavite affinity. So the Hoysalas can be credited as the earliest rulers who depicted Ganda Berunda on their coins across the entire Indian subcontinent. Afterwards, after this period, the Ganda Berunda becomes very popular. We know that the Vijayanagar ruler Achyutaraya had Ganda Berunda on most of his coins on the obverse. And even after that, the Nayaka coinage series also has representation of Ganda Berunda either in anthropomorphic form or in a bird form. But the earliest representation can be noticed from the time of the Hoysala coinage. Of course, iconographically or sculpturally, the Ganda Berunda occurs earlier than the Hoysalas during the period of the Western Chalukyas or the Kalyana Chalukyas itself. But on coins, the earliest depiction of Ganda Berunda is from the Hoysala period. Next, we come to the Yadavas, or also known as the Seonas, who inherited the northern portion of the Kalyana Chalukya kingdom. And Bilama V was the ruler at whose time the Yadavas became independent from their masters, and they continue to rule and till the time of the attack by Alauddin Khalji from the Delhi Sultanate from the north. Okay, and the Padma or the lotus is found on all Hoysala coins. So this is the royal crest of the of the Yadava coins. So this is the royal crest of the Yadavas. Because of the presence of this Padma, the Gathyanas of the Yadavas are also popularly known in literature as Padma Tankas. It is said that during the um, during the attack of Alauddin Khalji and his representatives from the north, a lot of these Padma Tankas were taken back to Delhi. Now, these are the Padma Tankas issued by various Yadava rulers. The top left, we can see this is a Padma Tanka. And here we can see a Nagari legend. Okay, at this point of time, the Nagari legend is called as Nandi Nagari. So Nandi Nagari is the term used for the Nagari script of this period, and the same thing follows on to the Vijayanagar period also. So here, if we try to read it, it reads as Ma Deva. So it is short of Billama Deva. So the first line, Billa, is Sri Billa is cut. It is out of the planchet of the coin. Okay, so this can be attributed to Bilama the Five, the first independent ruler of the Yadava imperial Yadava lineage. And very interestingly, if you look at this coin closely, we can see remnants of the lion punch here, here. So if we were to look back, this lion punch was used by the Chalukya, Western Chalukya or the Kalyana Chalukya rulers on their punchmark coins. So what does it mean is, in the earliest period of independent rule, Bilamadeva must have taken those Western Chalukya, the Kalyana Chalukya Gadhyanas, and put his punches on top of it. That's why we see remnants of the undertype, which has punches of the lion still visible. And subsequent rulers, of course, we don't have this sort of a overstrike, because they were independent and they were able to establish the coinage in a more methodical way. So we have the coin of Singhana Deva. So if we attempt to read here, you can read as Na Deva. So in the first line, it will be Sri Singha Na Deva. Again, here on this punchmark coin, it is Kanhara. So Kanhara is the local colloquial of Kanha of Krishna. So Kanha means Krishna. And this can be very easily read. Reads as Mahadeva. Again, another Yadava ruler. And then finally, we have the last important Yadava ruler, that is Ramadeva. Here we can read it as Rama. So that is Ramadeva. So again, the Yadavas also were able to issue silver coins in huge numbers. So these are the silver coins that have been issued by various Yadava rulers. You can find Seuna Deva, who was before Bilama. So at that time, he was a feudatory. And then we have Bilama I, during whose time Yadava attains independence, and then the subsequent rulers. And all this, the script is Nandi Nagari. So we have Krishna, that is Kanha, and we have Mahadeva, and Sri Rama, that is Ramadeva. So they all appear mostly in Nandi Nagari script. So if I were to conclude what we discussed so far, these are the important points. Early medieval Karnataka is prolific in coins, which goes against the theory of paucity of coinage. So we know that historians in the mid 20th century and slightly later, they proposed the theory of paucity of coinage for the entire Indian subcontinent. But however, we have just seen the coins which have been issued by various dynasties in the early medieval Karnataka, and definitely it goes against that particular theory of coinage paucity. We also saw that gold was introduced in Karnataka and also, more broadly speaking, in South India by the Rashtrakutas. So earlier than the Rashtrakutas, we don't have any convincingly attributable coins to the Badami Chalukyas. So the earliest coins, as per the data we have now, suggest that the Rashtrakutas introduced the gold coins. And the metals that were popularly used for coins are gold, and some dynasties also could import silver. When I say import silver, it is because silver is something that is not available in the mines of Deccan or South India. So silver, if used for coinage or any other purpose, has to be imported from elsewhere. It might be from Afghanistan or it might be from Burma. Copper is very rare. So this is very strange. Again, copper is not common to Deccan or South India. It has to be imported, but nevertheless, the copper coins were issued earlier by some of the earlier dynasties in the early historic period of Karnataka, but it becomes almost absent when it comes to early medieval Karnataka. Fractional coins are plenty, indicating a high degree of monetization. So we are not only seeing gadyanas, which was probably used for a high value transaction, but we are seeing its fraction, that is the pana, and its further fraction, that is the haga, and then its silver counterpart, which is the visha. So it indicates there is a high degree of monetization. That means any value of goods, either it be low or high, could be purchased by using coins. And the coin metrology that was established in the early medieval period appears to have been the basis for the subsequent periods. I mean, the medieval period, the coinage series of the Vijayanagar, and later on. For all that, the standardization was established during the early medieval period. The punch mark technique resurfaces in gold coins in this period. We saw that. And there's an emergence of regional scripts like Telugu Kannada, Nagari, and Nandi Nagari, which is also seen on coins. And the legends contain birudas in the place of ruler names. So there's hardly any coins of this period which has the name of the ruler. For example, we saw Kanha. So Kanha is the name of the ruler, but that is an exception. Normally, we see mostly the titles of the rulers. So this actually, like I was explaining to you, makes the attribution difficult because more than one ruler could share the same title within the particular dynasty. So with this, these are the acknowledgements that I would like to offer. I would like to thank these people for helping me with the images that helped me to present to you today this particular talk. Thank you. Hello, Shobha ma'am. I can see you now.
Thank you very much, sir. On the behalf of both the organizing institutions, Archaeological Survey of India, Bangalore Circle, and the Heritage Society Karnataka Circles. I think the lecture you have presented today, it is very much important, highly important for all our audience and the academicians watching us today. So, in this lecture, sir, the slides you have presented the Kandukida, similar to modern polo game. That is very much fascinating for me, especially because I am working on the theme of a sports heritage of India. So and trying to design a gallery for the museums for the sports unions of India. Okay,
I see.
so before valedictory remarks, we need to welcome our chairpersons, Professor V. Shobha, Head of Department of Studies, Ancient History and Archaeology, University of Mysore. On the behalf of both the institutions, I welcome you, madam, and requesting you for the chairperson remarks for this
Namaste.
highly important
Namaste.
sessions. Welcome you, madam, for the
Yeah,
chairperson
and
remarks,
good
please.
afternoon to all of you. Yeah, Namaste, sir, and good afternoon to all of you. First of all, I would like to congratulate Dr. Gautam Jantakal for his informative presentation, which he rendered in a very simple and lucid style. That is his style. And his presentation gave us an overview of the coinage of early medieval Karnataka. In Karnataka archaeology, numismatics is still a less explored area of research. And Professor A.V. Nassimurthy, who is an authority on this topic, he himself has mentioned in one of his works that numismatics research in Karnataka is still in its infancy. So Professor Nassimurthy is a well-known scholar. He's an authority. He has worked and written exclusively on the coins and currency system in Karnataka. But after him, particularly in recent decades, you don't find many researchers doing exclusive work on coins in Karnataka except Dr. Gautam Jantakal. That is his specialty. And why coins are not attracting the attention of scholars in Karnataka is because of certain reasons. Most of the coins are in private hands. They are from chance discoveries, not from excavations. So access is an issue. And till I listened to his lecture now, I also believe that the paucity of material is one reason for this. But now I know that it is not a valid factor. But in spite of all these issues, Dr. Gautam is creating a niche for himself in Karnataka numismatic research. And many of you may not be aware that Dr. Gautam is a IT professional. He quit his job to pursue his passion. He did his master's in archaeology from Mumbai University and completed his PhD on the coins of Karnataka. So now he's before us as an independent researcher in Karnataka numismatic research. So I congratulate him again for his lecture, and I expect many more such deliveries from him in future. And I also thank all the organizers for making me a part of this event. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thank you very much, madam, for your valuable chairperson remarks. Now I am requesting from the Archaeological Survey of India, Bangalore Circle, Dr. V. Raghavan Sahab, for the valedictory remarks. Welcome, sir.
Sir, on behalf of Archaeological Survey of India, our heartful thanks to Dr. Gautam Jantakal for delivering such a wonderful illustrated lecture on the understanding early medieval Karnataka dynasties through its coins. And a special thanks to Dr. V. Shobha Madam, Head of the Department of Ancient History and Archaeology, University of Mysore, as well as the Director General Heritage Society, Dr. Anand Suswat Dwivedi sir, and Dr. Saurabh Singh, Heritage Society Karnataka Circle, for the arrangement of this lecture. On behalf of Archaeological Survey of India, I thank one and all, as well as all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With the permission of our chairperson, Professor V. Shobha Madam, we are concluding the sessions today.
Yes, sir.
Our
We'll conclude the session.
This was our 5th episode. So very soon we will come again with our another episode and the distinguished speaker on the different topics of the Karnataka Heritage Lecture Series. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much to all our audience also who has supported us and regularly providing the valuable message in the comment box of the YouTube channel of the Heritage Society. Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.